Hey guys, so I signed up for a market. It's on November 1st. Am I market prepping? Am I? What do you think? No, I'm working on a vacuum from Luigi's Mansion for my 4-year-old. He came into my room last night, right? Talking to my husband. My husband's getting ready for bed. Poor guy has got to sleep more. And he starts just, telling me, like, come on, mama, I gotta get out of bed. You need to make me a vacuum. And, like, at first I was like, a vacuum? Okay, yeah, I'll make you one, but just not right now. And he's like, no, right now. And he's like pretty insistent. And it's like late. It's like 10 o'clock. And so I get up finally because my husband's like very tired. So I'm like, come on, let's go out of the room. Let me talk to you. And I'm trying to convince him, like, I will make you anything you want, but it's not going to be tonight because, like, I'm also sleepy. And he, like, did not give up. I went to the restroom. He followed me into the restroom. I told him I needed privacy. He said, I'm giving you privacy. I'll look over here. And he was staring at the wall. But the whole time, like, talking about a vacuum. And he actually, I don't have it with me, he actually was carrying around a printable because he had asked me to print out a vacuum for him to color. And so I did. And so he was carrying around a printable. And he actually showed me, he colored it in, and he is showing me that he wants me to make this vacuum. And I'm like, all right. I'll make this vacuum. I'll make it. And I said tomorrow. I did say tomorrow. That was, my bad. But, yeah, so, like, I'm kind of thinking he's going to forget, right? Because, like, who wants a vacuum? Me, acting like I've never met my son before in my whole life. He did indeed want a vacuum. He was very serious about this vacuum. So today, it was my now 8-year-old. It was my now 8-year-old's birthday the other day. And so we did have a party for him last weekend. And then we did celebrate his birthday yesterday. Yeah. We took him out and stuff. And then so today, because my husband worked yesterday, he didn't get to go to breakfast. We all went out to breakfast together this morning. And so my son goes out to breakfast with us. He brought his vacuum cutout, right, that he colored. He brought it with him in the truck. And we went and we ate breakfast and he took it with him in the restaurant. And after breakfast, we went to go buy a cake for my son. And he had a cake at his, like, actual birthday party, but we like to have cake just for the family. So we went to go buy a cake and he took it in the grocery store with him. And then he brought it back in the house with him. And then my husband briefly distracted him by taking him on a motorcycle ride, and they were so adorable. And then, of course, he remembered. He brought me the paper, and he said, Mama, can you make my vacuum cleaner now? And, at first I was going to talk my way out of it and try to, like, distract him with, video games or, something else, anything besides me sitting down and trying to crochet an entire vacuum from Luigi's Mansion. But, I was like, he really wants this thing. Let me sit down and see if I can work it out. So I'm trying. It's the vacuum from Luigi's Mansion specifically. He did color his red and green, but I'm thinking he might have just not been able to find the black crayon. I pulled up Luigi's Mansion. I looked at his vacuum. I'm not going for screen accurate, but I'm going for, like, general vibe. Like, I want to get it, like, pretty similar, right? So I'm working on it, and this is what I got so far. So I decided to go with half double crochet and blanket yarn so that I can make it, like, semi-quickly, right? It's still going to be several hours, but, like, semi-quickly, especially because I don't know how, like, I'm sure he's going to use it and I'm sure he's going to love it, but I don't know, like, how invested he's going to be in this vacuum. Like, how long are we keeping this for? So I actually received, from another crocheter, Beckmate Studios. I will link her Instagram. She has some great Pokemon patterns. She used to live in the same city as me, and then she was moving, and she didn't want to pack up all her yarn, so she asked me if I wanted her blanket yarn, and I was like, yes, of course I do. And so I'm actually using yarn that she gave me, which is amazing. She had this, like, really cool black. It's like gray and like lighter gray and then like darker black. So I thought that was cool. And then she had this bright red. So the vacuum from Luigi's Mansion is red and black. So I'm doing the backpack. So the backpack part that goes on his backpack, if you're not familiar with Luigi's Mansion, he has a vacuum cleaner that like rolls around on wheels, but he puts it up on his backpack on straps, and then it has like a giant sucker. So this is the red part that's going to go on Ollie's back. And so I decided to do half double crochet to build it up. But because I'm doing half double crochet, I'm not planning on stuffing it. And I was like, well, if I'm not going to stuff it, what if I make a flap so he can actually like put stuff inside? And I made, for my son's birthday, I made him a ghost banner that we hung up. And I actually missed a ghost. So I was going to give Ollie this ghost. I made 18 ghosts for the banner, and I only strung, when I strung them to hang them up, I only strung 17. This one was under a pile of scrap yarn, so it didn't make it onto the banner. So I was going to put it so he can suck up the ghost, and he can like put the ghost in his backpack. So I thought that was kind of cute. I'm almost done with this part, and then I'm going to move on to the straps with that. I am trying to decide if I want to add another row onto it or not, but we'll see. Okay, so this is where we're at. I've got the backpack done, the straps, you can go inside it, and here's the hose. So I wasn't gonna stuff it at first, I was gonna leave it hollow, but then I ended up stuffing it because my husband thought it looked weird, like because when you'd squeeze it, it would collapse. So here we are. So it's bigger at the base where it like would attach. I don't know why I felt like I needed to go realistic with that, but realistically it would be bigger going on top of a attachment. And then it's just a long tube. And then the end, I went ahead and made it like square rectangle shaped. And my husband had the idea to put magnet inside. So I'm going to put that inside. I'm going to close it up, and then I'm going to make a little ghost with the second magnet so he can actually like, isn't that so cool? So I think that's a pretty good idea. I'm losing light, so I don't know if I'll be able to get it done today, but it's looking pretty good. Like I got the hose, I got the backpack. It's supposed to go on, and then I think he is going to end up wanting wheels on this, so I'm probably just going to have to make those too. So we'll see. I think it's going to look so cute. Okay guys, so as you can see, it did come out absolutely adorable. I couldn't be more happy with it. A few things that I would change. I think I made the hose a little bit too short. When I was measuring it to fit him, I was measuring from the side of the backpack and then like along his body. But when I went to sew it on, I didn't want the backpack to be constantly expanded. So I did go ahead and put it on the front of the backpack instead of like completely on the side. So because of that, it kind of shortened it a little bit. It's not something that's bugging him too much right now. He's having a great time. But I think it will be something in the future that bothers him, especially if he keeps this around for a while and he keeps growing. But, you know, overall, it's like looking so good. I am sad to report that my magnetic ghost did not work. I tried it at first with Bernat Blanket, which is what I was using for the hose. So the magnet that was in the hose was in the Bernat Blanket, and then the magnet in the ghost, I originally made a ghost in Honey Bunny Candy yarn, but that one didn't work. It was too thick. The combination of the Honey Bunny Candy and the Bernat was too thick for the two magnets to make it through. So then I thought I would try a velvet yarn. Magnets were definitely pulling towards each other, but it just wasn't enough to support the weight of the ghost on the whole as I had hoped. So I have been thinking about it, and if I want to fix it, I think all I would have to do is to cut out the blanket yarn in the hose and cover that with felt instead and just glue that into place, and then I think it would be able to carry the felt ghost after that. So those are my ideas. Overall, I am super happy with it, and he loves it, and you know, it makes me so happy that I took the time out of my day to do it, because it did end up taking me about 5 or 6 hours. And you know what is crazy is I was locked in. That was really cool, and like he was so excited. I did end up finishing it that night. I think he stayed up so that I could finish it, and then when I was done, like he was just so excited, you guys. Like I couldn't believe it. He was so happy. And because he was so happy, I went ahead and ordered him overalls and a green shirt, even though we had already bought him a Halloween costume even yesterday, and he was just so happy. So I am really glad that I diverted that time to do that for him, because I don't know, he might not remember this, but I will. I'll remember it forever. Okay, thanks, bye.